Yo, what's going on, guys? All right, so I'm going to break down very quickly here how my client 4x'd his prices, raised his closing percentage to 90%, and collected $22,000. I know the headline is a little misleading here, but if you scroll all the way down, we can see he actually closed another deal, 22K in 17 days, all right? Now, if you don't know anything about me, my name's 𝐂𝐥𝐢𝐞𝐬. I formerly ran a CrossFit gym for 10 years, really learned a lot about human motivation, psychology, communication, and when COVID hit, ended up selling my gym, went all in on high ticket sales, ended up selling a ton of different offers, mainly fitness and SaaS products for fitness professionals. And now I'm in a position where I'm bringing my unique skill sets that I've learned over the last 7+ years, closing at about all-time 69%. Across the board on offers from between 5K, 10K, 20K, 80K, and $120,000. All of them inked, signed, sealed, delivered. And I want to share my gift with you guys because I truly feel like if you are a coach out there who can change somebody's life, if you have a transformational skill set that can really help somebody, then you should not struggle to sell it. So my goal is to just give you everything that's working for me, and hopefully you can apply it and get some awesome results and change your life in the process. So if you guys want to know a little bit about this client, this is actually a fitness professional, someone who's running a brick and mortar gym, also has a little bit of online offerings, but was really struggling with communication, struggling with prospects, battling, feeling like he's battling those prospects, feeling like this is a perfect client and they don't sign up, right? Or even if they sign up, he's not able to collect enough cash to keep his business running at a healthy margin. So those were the things that he wanted to solve. When he came in, immediately, I just want to give you a sort of bird's eye view as to everything we did and we enacted, and I'll run through everything. I'll share my screen here. I don't want to leave anything out, but I want you to see exactly what we did so that you can go into your business, you can kind of audit it yourself and see if there's any changes that you might need to make in case you also feel like you're skipping some steps that are causing you to miss out on cash or clients converting that otherwise should have. So the first thing I want you to understand is this is not special, right? Oftentimes there are coaches out there who can really help people, but the way that they speak, the way that they communicate, in reality, they have this amazing program or this skill set that can change somebody's life, but that's reality. In perception, it's not happening, right? And so the key difference in getting someone who is maybe a great coach and crushing it versus someone who isn't is the ability to communicate the value to each individual who might be a buyer in a sales structure that works like clockwork, that allows you to predictably say, I'm going to make X amount of dollars this month and I'm going to grow it X amount %, okay? And the way that you want to communicate, right? And the big takeaway, if I could just teach everyone one thing here, is you have to understand that the buyer's problems need to drive the process. The big trap everyone falls into that I've spoken with over the last 7 years is if you're an amazing coach, you know it, right? And you're so excited and enthusiastic that you have this amazing product or service or skill and you want to share it with the people. And it's like you get in there and you start talking about the features, the benefits, the advantages, but none of that stuff has a place to land in the buyer's mind yet because we haven't dug out a context as to how it would be valuable to them, right? You can't tell someone how valuable something is until you know what they value. So what I've created here through the conversation sales methodology is a way for you to help that buyer understand clearly what their problems are, what the possible solutions can be for that, and then insert a product that fulfills on those solutions very simply, and do it in a way that allows them to self-advance in that sales process based on their problems versus you trying to hammer them with sales and discounts and tons of marketing collateral, which just wastes a lot of time and causes you to end up playing what we call the revenue roller coaster game around here, right? Which is no fun for everybody. So what I want to do is very quickly just break this down. So when this client came in, okay, the first thing that we did, and I'll kind of share with you here that I even put it in this post. The first thing we did is we fixed the sales structure, okay? Now a sales structure, quite simply, and this is part of what all of my new clients get, is a sales structure, quite simply, just moves someone through a process of making change, right, based on the problems that they're having. So if I just zoom in here real quick, sorry, it's kind of small. All right, there's 5 steps in the conversation sales structure, and this is what we put in his business. And you can break, the nice thing about a structure is you can break it up into any process you want. So the process, it can be a one-call close, right? Now this is for selling remotely over the phone or Zoom. You can use this in person, but typically it's best applied for speed, that is, on a remote pathway. So the first thing you got to understand is we have to engage with those people. We've got to link up with them, right? And what we're doing is we're taking the focus off of us and we're putting it onto the prospect. From there, we're helping them focus, like what is going to be the topic of conversation, why are we meeting today, and we're allowing those people to express what brings them in, what is giving them the reason, the motivation to actually start to move towards solving this or making a change of some kind. From there, we evoke and we mobilize that change, meaning that we help them understand all the costs of staying where they are, as well as what amazing things could happen if they make that change. But again, we are leading them to those answers by asking the right questions in the right way, in the right order. We're not telling people, we're not directing them, right? And so it creates a lot of trust, a lot of credibility, because you're allowing that person the autonomy, that self-ability to move forward versus them feeling like you're selling or pushing them, okay? From there, once we have all that data, now we simply lay out what is the proper plan based on your expertise that's going to help them solve the problem. You go through it, they accept it as a solution that can work, you make an offer, and then we simply help them remove the barriers or the perceived barriers that they're having to actually committing to solve the problem, getting cash collected, and having them start that journey with you. So this is the sales structure we put into his business right away. We ended up chunking this into a 2-call process. But again, you can cut this up, slice it, dice it any way you want. You can turn this into any process that matches your brand, your offer, and the audience that you are serving. So that's the first thing there, all right? If we go back to that post, right? So that's the first thing. We changed the way that the buyer is moving through, where they're now self-advancing based on the structure. We're asking the right questions in the right way, in the right sequence. Now what we want to look at is that process. Okay, so what it used to look like, right, is calls would take forever. And maybe if it was a 1-call close, calls are going 90 minutes, 2 hours, okay? The key right now for process is you have to understand how deep do you need to qualify the people based on who you want to work with, right? So in this case, for this case study with this client, we did a 2-call process because in his world, he was getting a lot of maybe lower quality people who were really just kicking the tires. And so that first call allows him to not only establish credibility and authority, but also help him weed out some of those people who may not be serious about making a change. And there's no judgment there. He offers them help anyways, and by way of resources and those sorts of things. But this, now we went to a 2-call process, and being able to really establish up front his authority by labeling that problem clearly based on their problems, and helping them see what the real problem is, and then offering, if he wants to work with them, a longer call to show them that plan that'll help him solve it, right? So that's the process we put in place there. The last piece then is going to be a scripting evolution, right? The old way of scripting really is really just, here's the words, say them, right? Even my coach, who currently does multiple 7 figures every single year, you know, this is someone who, when they first started selling, they admitted to me they didn't know what they were doing. And so they just read the words exactly as the script said and was hoping for the sale, right? Now, I'm not saying that you're a newbie at sales by any means, where that's kind of where you're at, but I'm just saying that kind of style of just reading the words, that's been done, right? That's 5, 6, 7, 8 years old now. And prospects are always evolving. In this information, in this transformational age, the speed at which our buyers are becoming educated on the solutions available to them is increasing. And with that comes them taking more action, being on more sales calls, and sort of getting a better lay of the land. You know, 10 years ago, hopping on a sales call under the idea that you were going to get some sort of amazing strategy was really, really powerful and potent to draw people to book a lot of calls. But today, unfortunately, because there's a lot of unprofessional salespeople and a lot of people who are just in it for the money and want to close and hammer those prospects until they buy, they're creating a lot of distrust in the marketplace. And so what we have to understand is it's not just about having the right questions, having them asked in the right sequence, having them delivered right in the right way. But it's about, are you doing that in the context of a single conversation where that person truly feels like you're taking the time to understand them, their unique situation, and that the plan you're laying out for them matches those things. Because now if you can have that, even if you have an offer that, let's say in another world, is being made to 1,000 people with broad brushstrokes, when you bring it in that way and you connect with someone on a one-to-one level and you show them, hey, this is exactly how we're going to solve your specific situation, it feels different for them. Okay. And so that's what I really want to hammer is it's no longer about just reading a script, but your script delivery with the ability to be present and to listen and to understand their real problems and match those up with the solution. Because if you're not doing that, I hate to tell you, you're getting left behind. You're not going to be part of the top 1% of salespeople moving forward into 2024. So the key here, right, is we have to be neutral, calm, and curious. We have to understand our script well enough, but not be so attached to it that we are not listening to the people so that they don't feel like they're a commodity. All right. Now, when you get in, the thing that we did, and what's so great is I can just drop all this into your business, right? Like we did for him. And so we gave him the most important ones were going to be the DM and text script, which if you want to see what this looks like, you can actually go to my Facebook banner. On the top, you can click and I have a lead activation complete course done for you. It's free. All you got to do is log in. And if you want to see what that script looks like, you can go there and download that. And that will help you activate a dead leads list, get an additional 3 to 5 calls booked per week. If that's something that would help you, go to my Facebook page right now and click my banner and you can download that for free. But that was the first thing we gave him. The second thing is we gave him the inbound call setting script. Okay. This is now for people who he had leads coming in, but he didn't know how to reach out to them to advance them into a structure, right? So now what we're doing is we're using language to bring people into that structure we talked about earlier. And it's very specific again to the brand, the offer, and the audience. And we tweak that together on our first call. The last thing then that we dumped in that helped him get there quickly was just the sales calls, the top to bottom. This is basically word for word the sales structure. The key is, though, you're not sitting there reading the whole thing. You're learning how to deliver it in a way based on what that client needs most, which is why we offer coaching calls 5 days a week in the program, because sales is not something you did. It's not something you learned. It's something you do. It's something you're learning, right? And so through the combination of those 3 assets plus the objection handling flow, which covers all the big objection handling, because at the end of the day, guys, you can do all this perfect, but if you don't know how to handle objections, or if you don't have the confidence to double down and say what needs to be said to get someone to make a buying decision to change their life for the better, then it ain't going to happen, right? And so the objection handling flow is really 2 parts. One, it's all the major objections that if you can handle those, you're going to do $250, $500, maybe $1 million in the next 12 to 18 months. It's going to be your think about it, your money, your fear, your responsibility, your logistical, and your partner, right? If you can handle those, you're not going to have any issues for money, because you're going to be able to know how to talk to people. You can speak with conviction. You can help them see a different side of things so that they can move forward and solve their problems without letting the BS get in the way. Now, with that, okay, come the coaching calls again, because without having the repetition to know this stuff, you're not going to be freed up to listen to the person and actually make the change. So that's what we did. And so if you step back for a second, and I know I've had like 19 cups of coffee today, but if you are looking to make more sales, make them faster, and be able to charge higher prices for them while being able to confidently handle any objections that come up along the way, those would be the big changes that you might need to think about making, which is going to be, do you have the right sales structure? Do you have the right wording and the language and the scripting? And have you repetitioned it enough to drive it into your bones so that on a sales call, you're freed up to make that person understand that this is a unique situation, you're going to help them? And then lastly, do you have the objection handling down pat, right? And do you have support 24/7 via Slack, via coaching calls, that if something doesn't work, you know where you can go to make it work, all right? So that's what we did for him. And as you can see here, in the first week, we got all the assets built, implemented in his company. He really reviewed everything. He did a great job taking action. He came to all the coaching calls, asked all his questions. After everything was built, said and done, he just got repetition in on the objection handling, learned how to ask questions differently, learned how to give different angles on perspectives, and from there, went out, closed. Like I said, here's his, let me bring up a screenshot, but he closed, right, all these. 7 a.m., paid in full, 1,200, 12 weeks, 3 paid in fulls, $3,600, 2 monthly 405s, 1 6-month commitment at $460 a month, 1,200 down payment, 1 6-month monthly, and then late coming in later in the day here at $239, a $2,100 collected for 8 weeks. So that's how we help my client go to 𝐏 cash collected in 17 days. If you guys want any of these assets, or if you want me to do an audit on your business, all you have to do is book a time in the calendar below. It's 15 minutes or less. We'll walk through, we'll kind of take a look at what might not be working, where you could be leaking cash in your business and or clients converting on calls. And then I'll send you any assets that might help you get pointed in the right direction. Let me know if this helps, guys. Comment up if this helped you, or tag someone who needs to see it. Can't wait to see you guys go out and change some lives with some of these changes. Cheers.